Hey everybody, welcome to episode 70 of It's Just Bodybuilding. Of course, Dusty Hanshaw, myself, Ron Partlow, and today we're going to chat about all that is muscle and hit a bunch of Instagram questions on It's Just Bodybuilding. Dusty, you are all that is muscle. What's going on? You fill the whole screen today.
I'm leaning in. I was told I lean in and I need to lean out. I'm like, fuck, people, just tell me where to sit.
Yeah, and the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to put your head real close and your shoulders far away.
Yeah.
If anything, chest closer than the head, right?
Yeah, well, I hit up that guy from Las Vegas, and I was like, how does the...
the Craig Goliath.
But I cracked my neck, so I can't do that now either. But
we worked on that together. He gave me a few tips. Between him and Rich Piana, man, I had a hell of a fucking side shot for a while there.
I'm always, blown away, though, because they do all that shit. And I'm like, but you're also 350 pounds, so you could probably just stand there. You actually are 350 pounds, so
yeah, you already look like that to most people.
You're kind of, I didn't want to judge. You're making money. Do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing. Everyone's got to have their, Hulk Hogan had the leg drop. Got to have the lean back.
Snooker, I gotcha.
Yeah.
What is going on here? So I had the USA's this weekend. It was hectic. Yes. There were people. Yes. There's still people here. Like, I find out I have friends every now and then. It really is a headache.
Oh shit. You had like a weekend where you had to talk to more than like two people?
I kept leaving my house.
Oh, wow.
That's the full story.
How was the show?
Show was good. It was so weird because obviously the number of competitors in the bodybuilding were down. There were 10 light heavyweights.
Right.
Think about that. But the quality was great. So I think that
the pictures look good. Like I saw a lot of people look.
The light heavy that won the light heavy probably would have won if there were 30 guys. So it's definitely not a dig on the guys that won. The guy who won the overall, I pegged him as soon as he walked out. I was like, oh, well, there's your winner. And what's funny, dude, this is so terrible I am. So I follow people on Instagram based on, I'll see something I like, it'll pop up and explore or something, and I'll follow him. I had no idea I followed that guy. I like his stuff all the time. He's a great body. No connection. Dude walks out. I don't recognize him. I'm like, that guy's a fucking bodybuilder.
Right.
Then the next day, like that day, it popped up on my screen. I was like,
I saw him win. Yeah.
So I had to actually get into his profile and realize, I've been following him for a while, But it's just when you see a full, like a bodybuilder walk out that's got it all put together, it just jumps. And I'm like, he was awesome. My friend and longtime friend, John Ward, got second after, I think he hadn't competed in a couple of years.
Big John back on stage.
He did nationals a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And he was like, man, I don't know what happened. He got 11th and he sent me the pictures. And I'm like, you're not as big as you used to be. You're just not. And I think really they just needed to eat more because he came back. He was 12 pounds heavier this weekend. And without question, I told him this before there were any places. I'm like, this is the best you've ever been. I knew after prejudging he wasn't winning. But after that much time away to come back and to truly be the best you've been is awesome. So I let him have like an hour and a half after the show before I was like, so USA's, huh? 7 months? We're going to do this or what? He doesn't really have a choice though, because I told him I've already bought my tickets. So
I
already sent him some.
I'd love to see him hit it. Yeah, I know what you mean about there just being so many bodybuilders now. We're like obviously because of the phones.
Yeah.
Like there's always been guys in Finland training.
Yeah.
There's always been guys in Russia training, but we just we didn't know they were training. So we never thought of them and we didn't see their pictures. And they'd even do shows and none of those pictures would make it in the magazines. So we wouldn't see any of them. But now it's like, who the fuck's this and who the fuck's this? And holy shit, there's good guys everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I love it too because there's, not just, I've got bodybuilders that I follow and then just freaks.
Yeah, I
where
know what you mean.
yes, they're bodybuilders, but there's something missing or there's a reason that they're not. But I'm like, dude, if you can't be Dexter Jackson, be this fucking guy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but I promise he gets some weird ass looks at the local deli. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for in life.
rolls into the grocery store with the cutoff t-shirt on.
Yeah, just nuts, you know. So it was a good weekend though, man. And I got a pro card with I actually took on a men's physique guy. Got a pro card in that, so that was fun.
Okay.
A master's
That's awesome.
guy, same, won his class. And then I took a girl who she wanted to do bikini. I don't typically train a lot of bikini girls, but I saw her pictures and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna convince her to do figure. And she wouldn't budge. So we went for bikini, literally put her on stage as flat as I could possibly figure out a way to do it. And she ended up 7th in her first pro qualifier. So I'm like, man, it's just one of those weekends where the whole time I'm like, as I saw her in the gym in person for the first time, I was like, shit, it's even more muscle than I thought. So I was definitely happy with the weekend, but I slept last night, which that sentence all by itself, for those who follow, know that means I must have got hit by a truck. So
right. When you say you slept, are you saying 6 hours without waking up?
I was in bed for 9 hours, like not asleep the whole time. It was one of those things where I got up and I'm like, I'm not ready. It's not time. It's not fucking time.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So yeah,
I'm of course a professional sleeper, so
I'm envious. That's that's the only thing that sucks is I'll have guys comment on my stuff. They're like, it's not a badge of honor that you don't sleep, and I'm like, no, I'm aware. Definitely not the fucking goal here, dude. I promise I'm not trying to be hardcore. Right. Half the time this time is not utilized in any way, shape, or form. Like,
whenever you mention it, I take it that you're sort of making fun of your disability.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the same.
You're not like bragging out. I'm Superman. I deadlift on no sleep. You know,
because I do have people they'll do that in the Q&A. You know, like, hey, what do I got to do to help get better sleep? And I'm like, really? You're gonna ask me? Up next, I'm gonna teach you how to not go bald. I mean, I don't fucking know. So
it's all of your traumas added up, Dusty.
Yeah, they're picking on me.
It's just spam.
Or maybe they're thinking I've learned from my mistakes and I could help them. Like, this guy's fucked up royally. Maybe he figured it out afterwards. So we got to cover some Olympia news, though, dude. Like, what about Rolly being out of the
First up, that really sucks. You know, that's a huge gap in the lineup. I mean, that's a top 3. That's a potential winner theoretically. Yeah, you know, sure. That's one of the reasons people buy tickets. That's one of the guys that people buy pay-per-view for. That just it just sucks all around. Nobody doesn't want Rolly there except for whoever the kind of 3 or 4 guys are that work.
The guys who just went up a slot, they're all happy Rolly's not there.
You know, but yeah, nobody else in the bodybuilding world is going to be, cool with that. It's funny, when I saw that he was out, I thought, paperwork or COVID.
Yeah.
And I was reading the comments and I saw a few people saying the same thing, like paperwork and then COVID and then paperwork. And then I saw one guy write, he's like, these guys don't fuck up their paperwork, dude.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a minute.
Plus, Batter does it for them, I think. Like, they just fucking, it's like all handled with lawyers and shit, So yeah. Yeah. So fucking COVID. It said he got stopped in Turkey and failed a test on his changeover on his flight. So
that's even worse, dude, because that means he didn't know. And the prep is done, and I know I'm gonna get shit on for this, but I'm like, God damn it, really? I mean, he's ready. Like, it's not like he didn't throw an excuse, the COVID excuse. He didn't have a bad fish incident like we've had so many times in this sport.
Lasix fish.
Yeah, exactly. This guy actually just got caught having something he didn't even know he had.
Yeah, it's a shame. He said he's developed some symptoms too. So
right.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's good because you don't want to be around. I mean, truthfully, and this is something that I've had to cover, and I'm sure you have as well. Like I'm pretty vocal about hating half of the bullshit with this, but I am the first one to say once you have symptoms, then you need to get tested. And while you're waiting for your test, get the fuck away from everyone. Like,
Yeah.
you can get those 3 days back or whatever if you end up not having it. Like, but jump. So it is good that he caught it, is on his way, he'll get healthy. But fuck, he's one of my favorites. I don't care where he places. He's like a Marcus Rule to me. I just want to.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. He's one of those guys that, you're like, what the fuck's he going to look like this time? And, it's like he's also has one of those physiques where, like, if he's really on, he can win any show he's in, right?
For sure.
And then if he's off, you still really want to see him.
Yeah, 'cause he's a freak. It won't take away the fact he has 36-inch arms.
Yeah, like you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Bring him up.
Yeah, still good.
He's 10% off. No, it's okay. Just keep roll the show. Let's go. So he's just one of those dudes, man. So obviously that's a bummer. And also Hadi got the visa, so he's, I guess, fucking probably on the plane. He's probably on a plane today.
Here's the thing, and I'm grateful that worked out, is because to me, once he's got it last year, and he came here, he did what he was supposed to do. He left. He's only got 1 billion people that can vouch for what he's here for. I feel like it should just be easy.
Well, maybe it was relatively easier this time. I don't know. I know the first time a lot of people had to write letters, like,
Well, it took years. The first time was the fourth time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It was the first successful time,
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Story of my life. Never mind. Separate subject. I'm excited to see him too, because I think that he's a guy that I know most people would say they would have no issue if he'd have won the Olympia last year.
No, I wouldn't have. I actually thought he might.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there going, this could be interesting. They get to third. They call Bonac at fourth, and you're like, oh, shit, what's happening here?
Right. Well, plus, I think he's a guy, and not that we knew, those that are kind of watching, but I mean, he went from, for some people, unknown to immediately respected at the highest level. And then he made it even worse, and by worse, I mean better, with how he was with Dexter and every other thing on the stage. It was kind of like, those little decisions like locked him in,
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm really happy he's going to be there. He's captured an enormous number of fans. Just, I don't know, that obviously, I mean, it's hard to say personality because he doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
Can't really interact. But he just, all those little things, the underdog, the coming from Iran thing that maybe can't get a visa, train for the show anyways. I guess it's just the whole story of what he did last year. Couldn't get into the States, so he came to Vancouver, destroyed everyone.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
And then it was like, oh, fuck. He like suddenly, because in a North American soil finally, and all of a sudden everyone was like, whoa. And it just, the crowd was just so crazy for him last year. I was a little surprised at how crazy I knew he'd get cheers, but fuck, he was like fan favorite. He was a people's champ, remember?
Oh, he was for sure. Plus, I think, as an athlete too, there's certain things that he's done in the gym that you're like, I can't remember if it was 315 or some crazy number or 405 walking lunges and some shit. I'm like, okay, I can't do that. Literally, I saw some of the things that he's done in the gym, and I'm like, I wouldn't attempt. And I'll pretty much try anything. And it's like, yeah, that'll just bury me. That's silly. So that muscle, once again, proven that when you train on the other side of safety, crazy things happen one way or another.
Yeah. I know, man. What other Olympia news is there?
What's that?
I was gonna say, no. Remember we talked about Jose? We mentioned how we can't wait to see the send off Dexter gets.
Yes.
Do you think they're gonna do something special for him?
Yes.
They have to.
Yes. There's no way.
They have to play a video montage. They have to have like a little, at the Oscars when they show all the dead people.
Oh, it'll be huge because you figure Jake Jake is a huge fan of bodybuilding, the guy that owns the Olympia now. Plus, obviously, all the powers that be of the IFBB, they know. I mean, Dexter, like for me to realize that Dexter was a top guy when I started.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not young and I haven't been doing this for a couple days. Like, he's been at that level for that long. And in fact, he's gotten better. That was his worst when I was starting, and he was still the top 10 at the Olympia, and he looked about half the size he is now. And plus, like Jose was saying, I don't know anybody that has anything negative to say about Dexter. Anyone. And it's not because he's some agreeable whatever. He's just a good fucking dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. I wrote on my Instagram, I was trying to find, like, what do you say? Because, you know, the greatest of all time, it's kind of Ronnie.
Right.
But I'm like, I can't really call him the greatest of all time, even though I kind of am trying to find the words. So I said the greatest career of all time.
Which is definitely fair.
And I thought that's fair. And that's in itself just as ridiculous of an accomplishment, because it says consistency, right? You could be the greatest of all time just by absolutely annihilating everybody once.
Right.
You could, because you line up all the physiques in history and you still win.
Yeah.
So you could say greatest of all time if you wanted to. You could argue that.
Well, it's kind of like they do with sports. They'll say, like, this X year of the Bulls was the best team ever.
Right. Whereas with Dexter, you look at the whole thing, you know, started as a bantam, finished as a Mr. Olympia, and, you know, 4-time Arnold Classic champ, 9-time Arnold winner, you know, all this, all that bullshit, all that 29 wins, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I'm hoping they do something awesome. They better have like a fucking crazy video that gives everybody goosebumps and makes half the crowd cry. That's what I'm demanding of them. That's what Dexter deserves.
I'll cry for sure. I'm a bit of a weeper, let's be honest.
So I got a great question here, unless you want to talk about the Olympia more. Is there more Olympia news?
More or less,
did you miss anything?
No, I mean, because everything else we covered last week. We got our favorites. We got our all that stuff. Bumstead's winning. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, let's talk about Classic for a minute. You know, we didn't get to that with Jose because we're just such fucking morons, and we don't really have plans and we just ramble.
Makes us geniuses.
But yeah. So I mean, so you got Bumstead, you got Brion, and who else do you have?
Well, I mean, there's a million great guys. I just
that's the problem.
You know, but for me, I really do believe, and I've been looking forward to the Bumstead Brion battle since last year. And I could be wrong, but I do know that everyone shows their best when they decide to show anything online. And I just don't see Chris getting touched. I mean, he looks insane to me, and I've seen both. And I also think that whether people like it or not, he is the perfect poster boy for the whole thing.
Which sort of defines, I know what you mean, and it's hard to beat the champ. You have to knock the champ out, and you have to be better, clearly. And I think he's going to hold the title. I almost wish there was something else Brion could win instead, because he's just so fucking awesome.
No, he is, but I think that I don't know enough. I was gonna say I don't know enough to know how much room he has, but what I know is when I look at Brion, I look and I say he's still awesome, like holy shit. But when I see Chris this year, I go, he's so much better than last year.
Right. Okay.
Like the improvements, because Chris from the back was losing for sure.
Yeah.
It was a guarantee. All right, I'm gonna lose these poses here. And then I got to win these
5 out of 7 poses. Yeah.
You know,
whatever. Whereas
now I see some of these shots, and I've seen him moving also, not just in the finished picture in the perfect light. And you're like, he's definitely, he might not win those, but it's no longer a gimme to turn around with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one. And then, of course, God, the list of guys that are not even on my radar, the guys that I think that are going to come in are like the 5, 6, 7s from last year, because that's what this sport seems to be doing, is advancing quickly. Because, you know, you look back at who was winning 5 years ago, 4 years ago, they're gone. Like they're just getting destroyed now.
Yeah, and Classic is still so new that there could be like there could be a handful of new guys in the top 10, like that weren't even there last year.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And it's sort of the same as the USA phenomenon that you were talking about, where like I see these guys and they come through my Instagram and I might not know all their names, but then when I'm sitting watching the Olympia, I'll be like, oh yeah, that fucking guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Like, how do you look at a guy like Terrence Ruffin and realize that he currently isn't in the conversation to win? And it's like, well, yeah. He is.
his pictures with the hypertrophy coach come through my feed all the time. Those crazy pictures that they're putting up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just he's nuts. I mean, I'd love to see him up in that fucking top mix, you know?
Yeah.
Where was he last year?
I don't know, so I'm gonna
can't remember.
I'm gonna live on the edge and say like 5th or 6th in there. You know what I mean? But it wasn't right at the top.
That's what it was. I thought that's what he told us.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at it. I guess that's what's crazy about the sport is when you look at a guy that good and go, wait a minute, so there's a human that can beat that? Yeah. And then I say, no, Chris isn't human. And then we move on.
I like the crazy back double with the glutes and everything. How fucking nuts he looks. Mm-hmm. So
all the twisting shots are nuts to me because I just have trouble like twisting to get in my refrigerator sometimes. So I'm like, fuck do these guys do that? It's very impressive stuff. You ever have a hard time reaching the seatbelt? I mean, Jesus.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, we got loads of questions, man. So get them cracking.
I got one. I start with this one. This might be fun. Depends on how far back you want to go. Who were some of your idols growing up?
Oh man, Brett Hull was one of my biggest idols ever, the hockey player.
So he was your main hockey idol then?
My main. So this is so typical answer of me. The local, because I lived in St. Louis when I started playing, and he was just.
He was blue at the time.
Yeah, when he was larger than life. Like that was the first person I saw in person that I understood what it meant to have it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's great players, there's great athletes, and then those ones like a Flex Lewis. Like another example of a guy where it's like when I look at the top 212 guys, I see guys that may even eclipse Flex's physique, but they'll never be Flex.
Right.
You know, same with Jay Cutler. So that was Brett Hull for me. You know, like, and they just did a lot of stuff to make it nuts. Like, for example, when they started building the new Kiel Center for them, which used to be the arena, like, of course, the news goes nuts. He shoots a puck at the building, and then they blow up a bomb to knock it down. Like, you know, so they make it like way over the top with people like that. So, yeah, he was my first local holy shit hero for sure.
Right. Well, you say local, but he was world famous.
Yeah, local to me because I was a Wings fan my entire life. So Steve Yzerman would have been the main guy because he's not human. Again,
Stevie Y.
Unbelievable.
Lots of good Canadian Olympic memories with Stevie Y.
Oh yeah.
He brought us gold. He brought us gold. So, that's cool, man. So how old would you have been when Brett Hull was like we were in that phase of your life?
11. I mean,
11.
Yeah. So I was a kid, but just definitely awesome to see. Plus, when you learn in hindsight, I didn't even realize how crazy it was. Like to have a Hall of Fame dad and son, and Ice Capade's mother. I mean, I guess that was my first taste of understanding genetics. You know, his mom was in the Ice Capades, his dad's in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of like, well, yeah, this is what you do. You know, and he did it. You know who he reminds me of is Aceto, because he really downplays his abilities. You know, like he would talk and he'd be like, "Yeah, I couldn't really skate really well, but I could shoot, and it tended to go where I wanted it and went there very, very hard." And it's like, yeah, it's about as dumbed down as humanly possible of saying what you do.
So the thing with Brett Hull, he was always one of those guys where like. Everyone knows how awesome he is.
Yeah.
And how like crazy leader and like just, you know, that type of guy. But he was one of those dudes that Canadians were like,
Oh yeah.
You were born in Canada and you play for Team USA.
Yep.
We weren't too happy about that. Because he was born in Bellevue, Ontario.
Yep.
But his dad, obviously Bobby Hall, where did he play most of his career? Chicago, right?
Yep.
So then like Brett wound up moving to the States when he was like a little kid, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's dual citizenship.
Yeah, dual citizen.
And I think that would, as a Canadian, I get it though. If I'm Canadian and you're playing the Canadian game and you were born in Canada and you have a choice and you're like USA, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because let's not get it twisted. He's playing on either team. He just gets to decide.
Right. So like, I can't even remember what Olympics he went to as a USA guy. But whenever Canada would play the USA at the Olympics, it was like, there's fucking Brett Hall. There's Brett Hall, that motherfucker.
Yeah, the Canadian with the Americans.
USA,
waiting for him to lose. It was like both the U.S. lost and Brett Hall lost.
Yeah, it was a little bit extra. I remember when he played for the Stars. That's when I remember him the most. Was the whole that's where he finished, right?
Yep.
They won a cup there too, didn't they? With that infamous goal.
Yeah. No, he didn't finish there. He finished in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
so he got another one in Detroit, but yeah, the reason you remember that is because he got the goal where they were wondering if he was in the crease and yada yada. Yeah. Yeah.
He was a sneaky fucker too, so that's good. Okay.
How about you?
Oh man, it's funny. It's like I almost want to say Batman. I as a little.
But isn't
kid,
that weird? Do you think that George will be bothered that you bring up? Oh wait, not that Batman.
No,
sorry.
No.
He's firing me for saying that. Anyways.
Yes. No. Yeah, Batman, man. It's funny. I found a picture of me which I might post, and I must be like 3, and I've got like a gray, like full long john on.
Right.
Like button up underwear, like full john, like, and of course, because the old 60s Batman was gray.
Blue with gray, yeah.
Great. So then I had blue shorts and a blue cape. Like my mom had made me a costume, like a gray underwear. And then I had the big logo she sewed to the chest. Oh man, it was awesome.
You do have to post that now. Today.
Yeah. I was obsessed. I was obsessed with Batman when I was a kid, It's like I'm not like obsessed with him now at all, but when I was a kid, I was obsessed. And then I guess I had weird idols. Like I wasn't really, I didn't play hockey. I loved watching it, but I didn't play hockey. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say like, any of those guys. I didn't really have any athlete idols at the time, I guess. Right. But I thought, hey, when I grow up, I want to drive a red Ferrari like Magnum PI.
Did you want to wear the shorts too, the nutters?
The Hawaiian shirts. Though. Yeah. That's funny. No.
I'd like to see you with a stash and some curly hair, buddy.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad, eh? That wouldn't be bad.
It's hard to argue that Magnum PI was the frickin' man with the Ferrari, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Especially back then.
Yeah, I didn't have a sports idol like you did. I didn't really have an idol like that until Dorian.
That's so funny to me because you played football.
Yeah.
And at a high level, but it wasn't your thing.
I didn't have a football player that I was like, oh, I'm gonna like emanate that behavior and do what he does and stand the way he does and like, like how most guys do. I played football because it was just kind of fun and I loved, I was like, oh, it's kind of fun, but I wasn't like crazy about it.
Right.
And but yeah, I'd say Dorian was the first guy that was ever like elevated to that status where I was like, okay, what does he do? How does he behave? How does he think?
What brought you to that with being that it wasn't the internet era, the magazines? I mean, how did you realize like this guy's different?
Well, when there wasn't a lot of stuff. It was just, articles started appearing in magazines. Mm-hmm. Like I remember in 1990 when he got second at the Night of Champions to Mohamed Benaziza.
Yeah, his first pro show.
His first pro show. So the coverage of that appears, 3 months later, right?
Right. Yeah.
You get the
forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. You get the flags to show when's the fucking British Grand Prix, the Night of Champions. It's like in the spring, right?
Yeah.
So the magazine comes out in like July, and you see the pictures and you read the article, and the way they wrote it, is probably Peter McGow probably fucking wrote
For
it.
sure.
And
Yeah.
he's like, and in second place was the Shadow, and
Right.
right away he was presented that way. And that might have been largely like writers like Peter kind of like wanting to, push help, because like, he had a look that everyone was like, what the fuck, this guy looks different.
Yeah.
And then I guess, they gave him that persona, but then the training articles started right away. Who's this new guy? Next issue out, there's a training article, how to build the,
Plus, he was doing it so different than everyone else.
That's why it
that
jumped out.
sprung in your brain too, because you're like, oh, he's not doing 6 hours a day.
That was what triggered it. You know how when you're doing something and it's kind of going against your instincts, but you go, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Why would my instincts be correct?
Yeah.
And you like ignore your instincts.
Yeah.
And then when I read his articles, would have been like, late 1990, early 91, people started to kind of hear more about how Dorian trained. And that's when I would read them and just be like, this is like, I can do this. This is what
this makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like you go fucking ape shit and try to kill yourself on your main set. Okay, I get it. That's a language I can understand.
Right.
So yeah, it was just something about it. But yeah. What about you? Next question.
Oh man, we got some good ones today, actually. I like it because I never know which way they're gonna go because of how I toss them up here. Boom, boom, boom.
Drugs, food, training, silliness. Drugs, food, training, silliness. That's how mine go.
Okay. This is we'll get one more Olympia hit real quick. Realistically, what Phil Heath are we about to see? 2011 would be insane, but I don't know. That was all part of the question, but that wasn't my statement.
I think we're going to see the 2020 Phil Heath.
What do you think, though? I mean, when you say that, I mean, I got my version in my head. I'll come out and say that
I think
I won't be stunned if he's the best. If he's the best or close to the best he's ever been. I just have a weird feel.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm just like, let's see. He hasn't been distracted by social media at all.
Yep.
He's just been like training without posting anything. I'm like, shit. That's what I want to see.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's going to look like 2012, and I don't think he's going to look like 2018. I don't know. He's going to have crazy glutes and hams, and he's going to destroy everybody from the back.
Yep.
Guaranteed. That's what I think.
Yeah. My hope is that he is so good that he destroys the competition, but that Brandon and Hottie and someone else bring something so good that it's still like, holy shit.
Oh,
Even though it's Phil, it's crazy, the battle. You know what I mean? Because that's what I would like to see. Like, I do enjoy, like, I actually do want to see him win as soon as he walks out. But I want the other guys to be so on that it's like, okay, well, the 2, 3, 4 could have all won the Olympia last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also have a feeling that we're going to see the very best Brandon ever.
Right.
So that's awesome. And I mean, who knows what that looks like, but I just have a feeling about Phil. I don't know.
Like we talked about last week, it's hard to bet against someone that's all he's ever done. You know what I mean? He's definitely the guy that's like, well, winning is what I do.
Yeah.
You know, because I do find that it's like other sports, you know, you get to a point where some teams and some people find a way to lose and some people just find a way to win, you know, every time.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for watching another podcast here at Think Big Bodybuilding Media. And thank you to our great sponsor, TrueNutrition.com, for making this all possible. TrueNutrition.com is owned by Dante Trudell, the creator of DC Training. He wanted to create a supplement company that offered high-quality, third-party tested supplements at a fair price. High-quality protein powders, just about every type you could think of. Huge variety of flavors, plus health and performance supplements. Check them out, TrueNutrition.com. And hey, if you use our code ADVICES, you directly support our podcasting. Thanks, guys. Let's get back to the program.
What do you got?
Favorite Christmas movies?
Die Hard.
I love all the memes about whether it's a Christmas movie or not.
It's absolutely a Christmas movie. Everyone knows it's a Christmas movie. Yes, that is.
No, I know.
I watch that every year, actually, and I'm always blown away at how terrible the video quality is. Like,
you know.
Like you forget. I'm like, I guess once you've experienced what we have now, and then you go back, you're like I could see like a young kid seeing that for the first time and thinking the TV's fucked up. Like, Mom, what's wrong with our goddamn TV?
It's only half the pixels. Yeah.
When you were born on Avatar, it's hard to go back.
It is hard to go back. I can imagine their frustration. That's why I'm always skeptical when I suggest older movies. Like when I said, hey, watch True Romance.
Right.
Like you watch it and like it's a great movie, but like it's not 4K.
Right.
So I wonder if that's enough to ruin it for a young person. Like they just, even though it's a great script, amazing cast, like that one of the greatest casts stuffed into one movie ever.
Right.
But can they just handle the video quality?
Can they get past it?
Like it's shot on film.
Yeah, stay with me. They're like, I could shoot better on my iPhone, and they really could.
Right. So
their upload quality to Instagram is actually better.
I know. I just wonder how bad the barrier is now with some of the greatest films. I worry.
You're concerned.
Yes. What else you got for Christmas movies? Die Hard.
Okay, yeah, Die Hard's one. I mean, truthfully, I loved Home Alone when I was a kid. I think that is a classic. God, let's see. There's so many. Like there are really. What about whatchamacallit?
Christmas Vacation. You gotta do Christmas
Story.
Vacation.
Christmas
Story.
The original, with the Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
Gotta have that. I mean, come on. That is played at least here. There's a channel that plays that all day long Christmas Day.
Oh yeah. And I gotta watch Christmas Vacation.
Absolutely.
Uncle Eddie pumping the shitter's full. Yeah, gotta.
That is. I haven't seen that in a couple of years. I should.
And also, I got one I mentioned now because I thought it was really fucking funny. 4 Christmases.
Oh yes, absolutely. Google me, bitch. Do you remember that scene? The little kid that's wrestling.
Vince Vaughn in 4 Christmases. That movie's hilarious. Great cast too, by the way. That was great.
Oh, I've seen that enough that I've actually got like all the things running through my head.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh shit, I can quote the whole thing. It's not good.
It's very good. Okay.
That is a classic.
See, we're bringing the holiday spirit, Dusty.
That does bring it too. Trying to dodge your family and having both of them find out. That is definitely.
Right.
All right, I got a training one for you.
Yes.
If you miss failure on your top set, do you redo your set or get it next session? Now, I'm assuming, by the way this is written, that what he means is he exceeded the reps that he was supposed to get. So, because when it says miss failure, I don't even know what that means because you just keep going until you fail. Is that how you would read that? If you miss failure on your top set, do you redo your set or get it next session?
Yeah, it's hard to determine what he means by miss failure. I'm wondering if it means he terminates the set early for some reason, but then it would have to be like something didn't feel right or something hurt.
Yeah.
Because there's no other reason to stop your set.
Yeah. You didn't die. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
you didn't die.
Assuming, the answer for me on this is no. If I go for a set, then that's done because you've just gassed out a ton of energy anyways. Now, my assumption is that maybe he was going to go over the reps. So say it was a set he was supposed to get 12 to 15, and he got at 15, he was not failing. If that happens to you, don't stop.
Yeah, okay.
Get
So
19
if that's what he means,
or whatever reps, then
just set a new record.
Write it down for next time. Like, hey, I destroyed 315 and got 19 reps, so I'm going to need to bump up, to maybe 325 to be back in range. That can happen early in a blast if you don't know how much to use or if you've changed your rep cadence or something. But I really am confused when that happens because I feel my warm-ups. I've never gotten destroyed or absolutely killed a rep range because I know what I feel like during my warm-ups.
Right, I know.
I touch 405 for 2 reps before I do 455 for a set. And if the 2 reps feel like absolutely nothing, I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. And if it feels like hell, I'm like, okay, maybe we're not going all the way up to 455.
Right. Yeah, you gotta be smart about it. And it's funny because I train clients at the gym sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll help them with body parts and stuff. So the other day I put a client through a leg workout, and I hadn't put him through a leg workout for a while, and we were changing his feet around and stuff. So you're never really sure what weights you're going to use, right?
Right.
And based on his warm-ups on the hack, I was like, okay, we're gonna do 3 plates for your work set. But he was kind of trying a new foot stance. So, you get the factor where by the time we got to the working set, the stance was feeling better.
Right.
So then all of a sudden he got 19 reps with 3 plates. He just pounded them out. And the prep set didn't seem that light.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck happened there? I wouldn't let him stop. He gets to 10 and I'm like, let's go. Let's find out.
That's what I mean is now you're in it. So you go.
Now you're in it. You just go. So he just smokes 19. I gave him a couple forced reps. We wrapped the set, and he's like, I'm like, what the fuck happened there? You just turned into Superman from 2 plates to 3 plates.
You want to do cardio.
Yes. So I told him like next workout you go 4. You have tons of strength there. I don't know what happened. And he's like, yeah, fuck, you're right. So yeah, you just got to push through, crush that.
Those. And then also don't be afraid, because I have had those moments. The other day we did it, but I pushed through where I think that something's going to be my working set. And on 2 reps, I know, nah, this is easy. So I'll tell, Tommy, all right, I'm going. And then I'll unrack and 2 reps later, put it up. And I'm like, that wasn't it. I thought it was.
Okay. Is it my turn now?
Yes, it is.
Do we want to go there? How's this one? Money is tight. Do I spend it on coaching or gear?
All right. I actually do have a really easy answer for that. If you don't have enough money to do what the coach is going to have you do, then they can't help you.
Right.
But factor that all the way down to food as well. The biggest mistake you could make would be to hire the best in the world if you can't do what they want you to do. So, my advice would be keep the money for the food and the gear and figure it out, which probably sounds crazy, but if I turn around and want to put you on 200 milligrams a sip and you can't, I can still get you ready, but I'm not going to get you ready like I would have.
Yeah. I would say it depends on your situation. Where are you? When you say money is tight, but how tight, right?
Yeah. And also work backwards, right? A lot of people are really tight on money, but then you start looking at how much money they waste on bullshit. And you're like,
exactly.
I just found $200 in your broke ass bank account because you were wasting on this, that, and the other.
Yeah. You got a $1,000 car payment and you're whining to me that steaks at Costco are expensive.
Right. Well, not even, even more simple than that, because if you have a car payment, you're stuck. But I know, for me, just every now and then I like to just look. Here's a fun fact that is true. It's you waste more money when you make more money because you don't think about it. It's no big deal. You're like, I remember when I figured out how much money I was spending on espressos during a prep one year at $6 something a day. And it's not that I couldn't afford it. It was fucking stupid. So it's
here we are right back to the no-name brand oatmeal, Dusty.
Literally. So you all of a sudden you're like, or I go buy an espresso machine for X amount of dollars, and that's the end of it. So that's how people should look at that. Like you're saying, because most people have something that they're buying that's not necessity, that they're now saying, well, I can't afford a coach. I'd rather you go to the gym on a cup of coffee and not a pre-workout.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I think a lot of things are. Go ahead.
I think back to the 7 years that I just trained before I competed. I didn't have a coach or whatever. I just trained and, did what I was supposed to be doing, eating a lot, training really fucking hard, trying to get stronger and bigger all the time, and making sure I got my sleep and never missing meals. And then, oh yeah, I got $150. I can buy 20 amps of Sustanon.
Right.
Oh,
totally.
Whatever, that was how, I got to 270 pounds, so, people do waste a lot of money. They do waste a lot of money. But then, I've also had a lot of people tell me that they get me for free because they used to spend so much money on drugs.
True.
So there's also that, the number of clients I've had come to me, they're like, okay, I was on Tren, Masteron, Winstrol, Test, this, and this. And I'm like, you don't even compete.
Yeah. Let's dump 3/4 of that. And then, your diet sucks. So let's fix that.
3/4. Let's dump everything but 1 mil a test and actually get you training.
Right.
And then they say stuff like, wow, my back's never been sore before. That was awesome.
Right.
You're like, Jesus, okay. And so they are getting me for free.
Right. No, it's true. That actually makes sense. I trained with a client this weekend. It was, she's wacky. We've been together for a little over a year, but she lives in Atlanta, and made huge changes. Won every show she's done so far. And I taught her how to do a lateral raise this weekend.
Right.
And when she got done finally getting a set right, she looked at me and she's like, holy shit. Because we're looking going, okay, you've advanced this far, doing it wrong.
Right.
Watch. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of people out there that got pretty far, just there's a lot still to learn. And there's always, it never stops. That's too, if you think that there's going to be a day when you're done learning,
right.
It's just, oh no, that's not how it goes, because your body's going to change, or your shoulder's going to wear out, or your hip's going to hurt, and you're going to have to learn something else to get past that obstacle. It never fucking stops.
Isn't it funny though when you look back, and I know you've got this, and I have definitely gotten it since I've competed last. I changed my training, not in some hunt for a new way to put on muscle, but in some ways because I had to. And then I, like I said the other day, I looked in the mirror, I was like, my legs have never looked like this. Yeah, and then I started taking pictures, and I'm like, so I stumbled on this on accident. And then because it was working, my clients are now getting it. And it's like you said, it was literally because I was going around an issue I had, and my PT was like, well, you can't do this and this right now. So figure something else out.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't injured, I would still be doing exactly what I was doing before, So no, you make a really valid point. It really depends on what you want to do with that cash flow.
Your turn, buddy.
And I've got so many. Oh, this is a good one. Ron, who do you call when the shit hits the fan? I've got a dead body in my living room bad. Who in your life gets that phone call?
Oh, jeez. Well, you're on that list, but you do live a little far away to help me with a dead body. However, you would know who else to call.
Valid.
So I'm thinking of that scene in Tropic Thunder when Matthew McConaughey calls his agent. Or Ben Stiller calls his agent. He's like, I've done it. I've killed one. And he's like, a hooker? Okay, you need a bag of lime and a shovel.
A bag of lime.
You need a shovel.
He immediately has a plan for him.
He goes, oh, you need a shovel and a bag of lime.
You gotta love that. Everyone needs that person, though. It's so true.
Yeah,
that is so accurate. Or like you said, a few.
You're on that list. Actually, to be honest, I'd probably call Emily Emily, I fucked up. I need some
Help.
She hates disruption of her routine just as much as I do. So she'd probably be like, yeah, we got to get rid of this.
This body should not be in our living room.
Yeah, we don't. It'd be too much hassle if we make any other calls. Let's just handle it ourselves.
Oh
Yeah,
God, that's
so-
good stuff.
Yeah,
For me, mine's easy. It's Matt. We joke about it all the time, but I'm like, you're the only person that actually knows how to get any money I would need or any situation. Like, I think the only thing that would bother me, truthfully, is if I hit that moment and he wasn't already in the living room with me. Like, we got to fuck this up together.
And also, Matt always comes fully armed.
Exactly.
Like when he shows up at your door after the call, he's got a sidearm. He's probably got an ankle holster. He might even have a rifle strapped around him. And he's like, okay, what happened?
Well, now we have the dogs in play as well. So, yeah.
Big dogs with them.
It's got a couple, completely trained dogs.
Hey, if you can just feed the body to the dogs.
You never, actually, that's completely feasible with the most recent one. After watching a dog eat chicken and the bone, just through it, I was like, well, that was effortless.
Yeah.
That's fucking frightening. That was a great question, though. I saw that, I'm like, I actually have a few, but yes.
Yes. If you couldn't help me, you would have the number.
Oh, for sure. That's one thing that happens here all the time. I get the call all the time. Do you have a person for it? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. What was the question again? You're up, and I'm looking for my next one while you're doing this, so I'm actually ready for once.
What are your thoughts regarding Anadrol?
I have a 50-50 with Anadrol. I get great results with some people with it. I hate orals myself because they destroy my appetite. I don't take orals ever. I mean, prep. But I mean, if I'm trying to grow, the moment you can't eat, you're fucked. It doesn't matter what it could be the best drug in the world. But I do have clients that we can low dose something and then literally drop a 50 on there, and it's like overdrive. My only issue with current things like that is you do not need to be taking 100 and 150 milligrams of Anadrol.
No.
Like I had a guy recently, I was like, all right, we'll just cut it in half, obviously. He goes, okay, so 50 milligrams. I'm like, no, 25. He's like, well, they're hundreds. I'm like, well, then they're not Anadrol.
Anadrol 50 is the official name.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I'm like, because that is the truth of a lot of these drugs now is they keep amping them in a way that doesn't even make sense. Like if you know anyone that's a chemist, they'll be like, well, don't put 400 and 500 milligrams of test in 1 milliliter. That's stupid. There's not enough room for the other things to make it okay to function.
Right.
You know, like there is a reason that Primo is in hundreds. Yes, I've seen it in 200s. Get the 100.
Right.
I promise. You know, but yeah, no. What about you with Angel? I mean, I know the answer, but you tell them.
Well, I've told my real Anadrol story. I'm sure.
Yes.
I have to have. I got my hands on Anapolin 50, which is Anadrol 50 by Syntex. It's just they call it Anapolin or Anapolon as the Aussies call it. But I got some I was in another country, so they instead of calling it Anadrol, they call it Anapolon. But it's the same thing. But I got a bottle of those once back in the 90s, and I thought, okay, I got 100 tabs, so I can do 33. I can do 33 days in a row 3 times.
I fucking love it.
Right? Because
that is some old school running process, which makes perfect sense actually, because you shouldn't be rocking them for more than 4 weeks anyway. So
right.
Oh
so
my God.
I just thought, oh, okay, I'll just I'll time it all out so that I'll get a bottle of test, and I'll be on a bit of test, and then I'll do 33 days of Anadrol, and then I'll like do my break, and then next time I do a bottle of test, I'll throw 33 days of Anadrol in there somewhere. Like I spaced it out over like a year.
Right.
And every time I took that real Anadrol was just like I don't even know. Nothing I've ever experienced since. The strength jumps, dumbbells just felt like pillows. Like I just remember just fucking like kicking dumbbells up and being like like having time to like think, holy fuck, these feel so much lighter than last week. Like just having conversations.
Size or what?
And my face got real big. Like I had like a fucking basketball head. Yeah, like a big Saint Bernard.
Like
so,
me all the time. Got it.
But you're right about the appetite stuff, and obviously orals are harder on you and not, not as blah blah blah. So
I don't mind that though, as long as you get the result. Like, because I'm not somebody that's like, oh, you shouldn't take that, it's bad for you. Like, that to me is the most ridiculous thing if you're into bodybuilding, because most of what we do, then just don't do any of it. I mean, I'm not saying be an asshole, but I don't pretend that like, oh, it's for health. It's just you can't ignore something that turns off hunger. That tells me that my body is fighting that like it's an infection.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, I remember back in the day, guys would always say, oh yeah, I was doing Anadrol, but then like week 7, I started feeling like shit. So I cut it out. And I'm like, okay, I'll just stop at week 4.
Yeah. I have an idea then. Let's not get that far. Ooh, I like this one. I like when people ask a question that I have for you. Which physique / look were you most proud of in your career?
There's like a handful of times over the course that I was really proud of relative to where I was development wise, like where I thought I nailed it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think 2007 when I won my first national title, I didn't win the overall though, but I was just told by so many people and then 2010 and 2012 were very similar. I got second both of those years.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember people coming up to me after those shows and they were like, that was your best. Like I remember people telling me like, that was your best. And then like, that was your best. I was like, I just remember feeling like really, really confident going into those shows and liking how I looked, being proud to stand on stage and hit all the shots and, not worried about any little thing. Like, yeah, I was always so critical of myself. Like looking back, I never really liked my physique most. Like,
you don't even like our radio show.
I didn't even really like you.
You're still critical of yourself, but go ahead.
I didn't go to a lot of shows really happy with my physique because I always felt like, okay, I look really great. I'm happy with my prep, but man, I really need bigger calves. Or something would always really bother me. I was just always such a like critic of my physique. So, but there was a handful of times when,
I like
mean,
that,
when I,
that driving force for a guy like you, because you want more, no matter how good it is.
It's always wanted more. I remember like going way back to the 99 Albertas. I mean, I was way smaller back at that show and all that, but relative to my development, I just remember people were like blown away at that show. They were like, you just fucking killed that show. So that really felt great. Like I was really proud of that show.
Right.
Because, even though you're not as big yet, you're not a pro yet, but just the fact that you showed up and just like, so that's always cool to experience. I mean, a lot of guys compete a lot and they never get to experience what that's like. That's pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And as you climb the ladder, it gets harder to win those shows. Like it's harder to win overalls, and it gets harder to crush shows as you go up the ladder.
Right.
Like, so it's always a great memory if you get one.
Yeah, I think that's the key is you have, there's looks along the way that I like, but my favorite, most proud of look was actually 2006 Emerald Cup prior to the show, because the coach I had at the time switched everything 3 days out, and I didn't bring the look that I had. But the reason I loved it is because during that prep, I learned what bodybuilding was. I actually thought that he was fucking with me because I was dieting so hard and so long, and I was everyone who knows nothing, as you know what I mean by this, was telling me I was ready too early. I was going to flatten out. Yeah, you're just in your ear the whole time. And it bothered me, and I felt like breaking down, but I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of quitting. So I just did what I was told to do every day. And then I remember before I left town for the show, we shot some pictures, and it was the first time that I was like, I'm fucking peeled.
Yeah.
Like, because at the time I was training at a gym where the locker room was in the front corner of the gym, and the area where you would pose was in the back corner. And I remember getting done posing one time and then just walking to the locker room holding my shit and just seeing people, not because I'm running around half naked, but literally looking at me like, what the fuck is that? You know, because you know when you're really in shape and you're walking and shit's firing up your glutes and low back with every movement.
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing looks in the faces and then kind of glancing in the mirror and be like, oh, I get it. This is pretty disgusting, and I should probably put on some pants. Got it.
Yeah.
Noted for both. But yeah, that's when I found out I love bodybuilding, because it was never about the show. It was about loving that hell for some reason.
Yeah, the process.
Yeah. You're up, and then I'm already ready with another one.
You ready with another one?
Yeah, fucking right I am, dude. I'm on fire. You go.
Okay. What do you think of CBD oil?
Real? Good. Not real? Prominent. Like, the amount of garbage CBD out there is unreal. But I have used a couple that really seem to work. And I am a minimalist, as you know. I barely take anything of anything. And I actually could see a difference when I was sleeping with one of them, which is no longer available. But yeah, so I think they can be good. I just think it's one of those things now where you need to find one that absolutely works, because it just seems like there's so much shit out there.
I've never tried CBD oil. Actually, that's not true. I had a friend gave me a bunch. So back in 2016 when I tore my quad, it wasn't like prominent yet. It hadn't been legalized up here yet. Right. But it was like coming. Everyone like knew like legalization was coming. So people stopped kind of caring. And someone like gave me all these, the way they were packaged was weird because I've never seen them since, but this must've been like a thing back then. But it was like these insulin syringes with no needle. Like the ones that you'd use. There was a bunch of these insulin syringes. Yeah. That you'd like, squirt stuff in your dog's mouth or whatever. And they were like preloaded with this black oil.
Mm-hmm.
And they came like wrapped preloaded.
It's expensive as shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, someone gave me, I don't even remember where I got them. Someone gave me like a bunch of them. And they were like, take one of these a day. And I was like, okay. So I just squirted it in my mouth and swallowed it like, once a day.
I freaking love that. Is bodybuilding 101 right there. I don't remember who gave it to me. I wasn't really sure
or
what
where
it was.
It came from.
But just put it in your mouth. It'll be fine. I did that one time with Chris I'm at a show one time and I walk into a room and literally as I walk in, he hands me a pill, goes, take this. I slam it, drink, and I go, what was that?
Right.
It's already gone. He's like, it's going to kill you actually.
I did that at a festival once.
It was more than once, Ron. It was more than once.
Take this. Okay.
Asking a half an hour. What was that?
You're at a punk rock show. What was that?
It was you about to have a great time, sir. Okay, so here's mine. Post bodybuilding. The question was directed directly to me, but I want to know your ultimate goal too. The guy asked me, greater than or less than 200 pounds. Now, we're going to have to alter that a hair because I haven't seen 200 pounds since I was like 14, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, that wouldn't happen. But how small do you see yourself going down the line?
Down the line?
Yeah.
I
don't know how much, like, what are you now? 260, 255?
No, this morning I was 253.
Okay, that's close, yeah.
But
you're trying to stay down. Like,
but I'm still training like a mad. I still train really hard.
I don't think it's going to stop, though. You're not going to stop training hard.
I know, but like maybe in my 50s I'll train 3 days a week. Just do a push-pull legs 3 days a week or something and do other things. Who knows? Like,
right.
I don't see myself ever stopping training. Obviously, I love the gym, but I'm just saying, right now I still train like a bodybuilder, and I still eat bodybuilder style lifestyle diet.
Right.
And I still like, look in the mirror in the morning and go, okay, fuck yeah, I'm holding everything decent. Like I still do that. But I mean, the day might come when I'm like, 230 sounds good, you know? So we'll just have to see, I know that, it's probably a good idea to drop some weight as you get older, but I'm not 50 yet. So we'll just kind of see how this goes. The lowest I've seen, was about a month ago. I think I was 248 one morning.
What did you eat for breakfast that day? You immediately started eating.
I think I had a muffin with my oatmeal.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and add a muffin or two in today for sure.
Yeah, I was like 248 one morning, and like my face was getting pretty drawn, and so I bumped my food up. I just had a weekend where I had several servings of French fries this weekend, so I'm up a few pounds. We'll see how it goes.
I think, though, to answer the question in a little depth, when you have carried size for as long as we have, I don't think most people realize the fight it is to lose it. Like,
yeah, you literally have to like stop training, and obviously then you start feeling more unhealthy, and you do become more unhealthy. Like the training is like it keeps your blood good, it keeps your all the stuff that happens when you train, burning fat, and it's not something we're just going to stop training so we can shrink down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because that's the answer to the question for me is I want to shrink when I'm done. But I don't think it's as far number wise as I would like it to be. I mean, I haven't been under 270 pounds including stage in like 5 years. So to see 230 is going to be a brawl. Like, and then for the last year and a half, when I was just focusing on basically creating content, I wasn't trying to go up. So I'd eat 3 or 4 times a day and maintain 285.
Right.
So that's why when I kicked into this idea of growing, I'm like, man, this is almost going to be nuts because I will put on so much size just from food.
Right.
I haven't been eating like this. So, but yeah, there will never be a Dusty under 200 pounds until I'm dead.
How's your weight now? Like, what do you weigh now?
294 today. Yeah. Okay. So I'm already back up. Do
you anticipate 300 pounds by the new year?
Yeah. Yeah. I think by the end of January, I'll probably be like 310 again.
Oh, damn. I haven't seen
but it's coming quick. Oh God, it's been years.
I think the last time you were up, I thought you looked good. Like you were lean and big, and you were like, yeah, I'm 279, I think you said.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it would be light. Yeah. I haven't been heavy in years. Like, actually, I was telling a friend the other day, I forgot how much food it is. Because, like, I'm just used to functioning without. So now I'm actually, like, back to the beginning days where my phone rings when I need to eat. And I'm like, shit, I don't want to eat. And I'm only doing 10-ounce servings of meat right now, but it's I don't like to eat shitty food. So, 400 grams of rice is a lot.
Yeah. No,
I'm looking at the plate going, didn't I just have this a couple hours ago? So what do you got?
How to prevent or treat shoulder acne caused by gear?
I'm a terrible person to ask. I mean, number one, truthfully, as dumb as it sounds, is which you're saying caused by gear, but staying clean is a huge percentage of it because oil and anything on your skin is an issue. But a lot of it is hormonal with how your body's reacting to the gear you're putting in. People forget that when you take tests, then your estradiol moves. Then all these other hormones move. So if you can keep those where they're supposed to be, you're going to see a lot less. But the simple answer is stay as clean as humanly possible. And sadly, it's also genetic. Like I could try to get acne and I wouldn't be able to do it. I'll see like one, pimple on my shoulder and be like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. I've known guys like you before too. I had acne. It wasn't severe, but I had sort of like minor reactive acne from like my cycles when I was young. Mm-hmm. And then like not too far into my bodybuilding, it just like just kind of stopped. Like, I think by the time I did my first show, like, just kind of stopped. And I always felt like my skin was directly linked to my diet.
True.
And
that's a really good answer. Really
and
good answer.
You know what? If I was running like test and D-ball and I was like, you know, eating clean, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be nearly what it was if I was like just throwing junk in all the time.
Right.
Then my skin would get worse. Like, I'd have a weekend where I'd eat a lot of junk, you know, try and calorie up. And then like Monday I'd have like a breakout. I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah, you know what that was from.
Yeah, and then like as I got older and I just continually kind of perfected my diet and got more and more bored with food and less wanting to eat junk, and
that's what happens. It's not that you get hardcore; it's just easier.
Just easier. Yeah, and I just never had a problem, you know, like, so it's kind of, there's a huge genetic component, but yeah, you got to remember the test. Something hormonal is triggering your sebaceous glands to produce more oil.
Yep.
So you have to facilitate the, you know, like, you know, you might be a totally clean person, but those sebaceous glands are just acting up, and you got to fucking have that extra shower, or speed your shower up. Like, as soon as you get home from training, have your shower. Don't sit around and like crash on the couch for 2 hours and then, you know, and then shower later before bed. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not a dirty person, but you just have a situation where you should expedite that shower.
Right.
Just do those sorts of things to try to like speed it up, you know, get
agreed.
cleaner. Okay.
Give me 10 seconds. This guy wants to go on the patio. He's yelling at me. If he tells me he's going on the patio, he's going on the patio. Come on, let's go.
I got to remember to ask Dusty how everything went with the knee replacements.
Don't bark.
Okay.
I may or may not have trained them to use a litter box. Anyways.
That's so funny. I forgot to ask you what's going on with the knee replacements. Where are we at?
Oh my God. Well, now it's normal. I mean, she's in normal life now. She can't train and everything, lower body yet, but 30 minutes on the bike every day, driving her own car, doing her own thing. The only thing that I'm doing now is I'm a dog walker. I went from nurse to dog walker, and simply because 80-pound Pitbull, if he decides he wants to go, and she's going to have to let go or go down. So I've been doing his long walks, of course, are facilitated by a wallet and calling a company that'll walk them for me. And then don't anyone think I'm out there walking 2.5 miles with this dog.
But he's getting his walks.
I'm a bathroom break dog guy.
Okay.
And then, so we've got a good dog walker actually that takes him, I think, 6 days a week, like for long walks, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy. The only thing that's interesting is, just like bodybuilding, it's progressive. So you push for more, but then the soreness almost makes you feel like you made a mistake, you know? But right now, my PT is who she uses as well. And he thinks at 4 weeks, she'll be essentially 100% to start trying to move forward. And in 3 months, he thinks she won't even remember she ever did this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely different. It's like you and Matt. I mean, I think when you're that healthy, it's just different. Even the doctor was, when he called me after surgery, he goes, I've cut thousands of people. He's like, that tissue was the greatest muscle tissue I've ever seen in my life. You know, because it's both good, but also healthy. Yeah. I was like, I have more of it, but it's probably not healthy. So no, it's been good. It's been
my turn?
It is your turn.
Thoughts on push-pull legs being more popular these days than the bro split?
I think that push-pull legs is something that is popular because it's what we hammer down. I hammer down to people who are nowhere near needing to clean up the edges of the diamond, so to speak. Like, it's the quickest way to put on bulk muscle wherever it falls, and progress. I think what you start to notice, and guys will call me out on every now and then, where they start to watch my training, and they're like, well, this isn't push-pull legs. anymore, really. It's because now I've reached a point where it's like, yeah, but I need a bigger bicep.
Right.
Whereas earlier in your career, you need a bigger everything. And that's what I hammer with people, even if they have a genetic body part. I'm like, oh, well, so your legs are awesome, huh? Yeah. Are they pro quality? No. Okay, good. Then keep going.
Right.
Let them run away. So, and I think also, which is a good thing, progressive overload is really being heard again. I think that in some ways, the ejection of people just going to the magazines have gotten rid of the fact that a lot of what was written in a magazine was just like, well, we got to write something new. We can't keep writing the same thing every month and expect to sell magazines. So now they're just getting it jammed down their throat. I mean, look at our episodes. Whether it's push-pull legs or not, progressive overload or intense training, every person we have on says the same thing.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So
yeah, I guess mine is just I see so many things as just wordplay, just semantics. People arguing about wordplay when they really actually agree on almost every fundamental point that needs to be recognized, but they're willing to sit down and have debates about splitting up quads and hams. So I guess my take on it is that in a lot of ways, the push-pull legs is the new bro split. I mean, Valid. It's just an evolution of language and fashion and style. And I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of people doing a push-pull legs that aren't really making any more progress than they were on their bro split. Right. It's not like it changed the game for them. I use it with some of my clients. I have some of my clients on push-pull legs, and then I have other guys on fucking chest, back, arm, delt, leg workouts, and all that sort of stuff. It just depends on the person and depends on their lifestyle and what schedule they lead too.
Right.
That stuff matters. Not everybody is doing what you and I did, where we, just don't work normal jobs like normal human beings and decide not to do anything normal so that we can bodybuild the way we want to.
Very valid.
Some people are like,
why it's going to get in the way of bodybuilding. The sport
some people have like an actual list of things that are more important than their training, And so some guys, I'm like, hey, push-pull legs works really good for you. Let's hit it. You only have 40 minutes to train.
Right.
But you can train every single day. So let's do three on, one off, 3 on, 1 off. We'll get your workouts in. We'll get the volume in that way. Whereas other guys really enjoy chest, back, delts, legs, because their training partner can do it, and they can both train at 5 o'clock, and they both have the same schedule, and they both like the 2 on, 1 off. And so it's just, there's so many variables. I think people search for the perfect split too much. I think what you're doing in the gym definitely matters more. And obviously the split has to be set up sensibly,
right.
You don't want to do triceps and then the next day you're training chest. Like you have to use your brain, so there is a wrong way to split things. Absolutely. And there is a really good and possibly best way to split things for you. So
for you being the big thing for you.
Someone sent me their program to look at because I was helping them, and they essentially had the same split that I wanted them to do. But they had back, legs, day off, chest, shoulders, day off. And
you want to move the two big body parts or something.
I was like, well, back and legs aren't going to go side by side, and chest and shoulders aren't going to go side by side because you're just using. So now it's chest, legs, shoulders, back, right? Yeah. So and I didn't even change their training.
Yeah.
Your training's actually good. Let's get some videos so I can see how you move weights, but don't change your training. But let's change your split because there is a better way to set these up.
Yeah, I think that's a big factor too. Like I just sent training to a guy last night who's very advanced, and I said, hey, I like to write it out because they want to just hand you the wheel, and I'm like, I need information. This might be too much volume for you. It might be right. This would kill me. I think it might work for you. If it doesn't after 3 days, tell me. We're going to pull off one working set per. You know what I mean? It's like essentially the idea for me with someone who's really advanced is in 6 weeks I'm going to know what to do.
Yeah,
what you were already doing, what we are now, and we're going to have a perfect plan for you. But like you said, it's very individualized because at that point it needs to be. And I think you've got, like you said, the big factor, and I love doing that, is let me see some video. Because usually, I mean, form, yes, but intensity is the big thing. And I'm like, That was not even close. Okay.
Right.
Which is okay. Like, it's not a shot on them. It's just they're going to find out when they start training how quickly they change, because you would train with anyone in the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. No one's you're never going to learn a new level of intensity that you didn't know existed at this point in your life. It's like, you could train with anybody. So
yeah.
We all remember the first time we found out we had never trained before. It's like, oh shit. Okay.
Your turn, right?
Yes. What are the advantages and or disadvantages to a free weight only prep?
Well, the advantages. So let's say you're forced to do a free weight prep.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm assuming that's all they have.
Say, yeah. Let's say it's a COVID prep in the garage, right?
Yep. You're
forced to do a free weight prep. First thing you do is you got to get your mentality right. And your mentality is, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this time by learning and perfecting these free weight movements and getting strong at them, and keeping it super simple, all that stuff. There might be some fun to be had being forced to train a certain way. You have to get creative, and I like when there's like that little bit of desperation where you're like, okay, I got to figure this out. Sometimes I thrive on that. Mm-hmm. So I don't really think there's an advantage to your physique necessarily, unless you're the type of person that wastes time on exercises that I actually do consider to be nonsense. And now you're being forced to use barbells and dumbbells, which is probably going to be a good thing for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, some people are like out there doing just the machines that you and I don't even like.
Yeah.
Like,
I think too, you find that some of these things, like you said, I can tell you that happened to me. You know this because I joke about it. I used to travel all over the valley for certain body parts on certain days because I could. I have free membership everywhere. I like the equipment here. I like this there. Then COVID hit, and I was training at Muscle Factory. It's very limited in comparison to using every gym in town. And now, despite adding some equipment to get things, I still don't go anywhere else. Like, it's become like, that was silly. Like, I kind of laugh. Right. I'm like, man, I was way more Scottsdale than I thought I was, driving all over fucking hell to find some piece of equipment. And I'm like, an RDL is what I need.
Yeah. And also too, I know I'm a gym owner and I love equipment and I love good equipment and I am a bit of a kit head, but at the same time, I'm also not into silly machines at all.
Right.
Like I still, when it's hamstring day, I do lying leg curls and stiff leg deadlifts with the barbell.
Right.
And most of the time, so I love good equipment, but I'm not one of those people that thinks that having all the fancy equipment in the world is what makes a great physique. Having a bunch of good options makes a good gym. Right. But even if you look at West Coast Iron, like, we have a ton of great equipment there that some members love every piece.
Right.
But I don't use them all.
Yeah.
Like there's a few leg machines I never fucking use, but I see other people using them all the time because other people like them, but I just don't.
Yeah.
So I'm not an equipment nut in the sense that I think it's the secret to a great gym. I just think that, a great gym can be 3,000 square feet with 10 pieces of equipment in it if they're all good pieces.
You're going to love this, Rod, because of what you just said. So my gym's 9,000 square feet. So it's relatively small when you factor in cardio, everything else. But we have the previous owner had bought one of those Arsenal racks for dumbbell rows. So it's got like a place for your knee and a place for your hand. And I'm like,
yeah.
What in the fuck is this doing here? Like, I'm moving that shit all over the gym all the time. And I see people use it because it's there. So one day I was like, I'm going to fuck it. It's here. I'm going to use it. I'm like, this thing sucks. Literally. Next thing I know, I'm back on my own leg using my forearm on it and doing a damn row. And I'm like, who buys this shit?
Yeah, stuff like that. There's a lot of pieces that are like, kind of, what's it when the new car smell wears off.
Yeah.
You realize it's kind of useless. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I mean, my buddy Braden, my training partner, his garage gym, like,
I've seen it. I could
could
train
get
that
ready-
for the Olympia.
I could get ready for a pro show there.
Oh, for sure.
If I had to, like
Yep.
the old me could fucking get ready for a pro show there, no problem. You know, new me might need to buy a few things for my old body, but yeah, you know,
Totally different reasonings, people.
totally different reasons.
We are old.
Yeah. You know, it'd be fun too because you crank the music. Fuck it, you know.
Oh, there's parts of that I think would just be awesome. I mean, which is essentially what I have now, though. I laugh because when I walk into the gym, like the first thing I do is I'm like, oh, we gotta fix this radio. It's got rap on. I don't want to listen to this shit. So I walk in, change everything immediately, and some of the guys who prefer my music are like, thank God you're here.
I got my. Did I tell you about my Spotify year in review?
Yeah, yes. You're a fucking all-star.
Did we talk about that last time?
We didn't talk about it. You and I talked about it. Sorry,
yes.
you guys weren't here for that conversation.
Yes. It was
you
funny
sent it to me.
because the gym uses my Spotify sometimes.
Right.
And I know the morning crew like some of the hip hop playlists because
Right.
there's like some good like popular like they got a good beat, and they throw some of the hip hop on and it plays for like 8 hours the whole morning shift, right?
Yeah.
So my number one genre was rap, even though I never listened to rap.
Right.
But then my number one artist was AC/DC because Spotify does know that I'm fucking playing albums all the time. And I was of all the people on Spotify that listen to AC/DC, I was in the top 0.005%.
When I saw that, dude, I lost it. I was like, do you understand how many people listen to AC/DC on the regular and you're destroying their listening habits?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. See? 0.05%. Fucking crazy.
If you were in the top
So, yeah.
1%, that would be crazy. Like literally 1% of the
You know
world.
You know what 0.005 is? It's 50 people out of a million.
Holy shit. That puts it in perspective a hell of a lot better.
Right? That's what I was like, how many people is that? Like, what is that? What does that even mean?
What did I
You know?
win? I won a lot.
Yeah. And that's the people that are already listening to them, not just Spotify.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's
No.
what's crazy. No, and I'm the same. Like I do listen to rap and all that stuff. I don't train to it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's tons
know?
of music I love, like, fucking some of the bands that came, like Radiohead came up on my list, right?
Yeah.
I trained to radio. Fuck.
Yeah, that's why I always laugh. I'm like, not that I don't like it.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
I don't want to deadlift to that shit. Like on the flip, there's music I listen to while training I would never listen to in my car.
Right.
Like driving down the road. I don't want to be that angry in the car. I'm already that angry in the car. People drive like shit down here.
And
Classic. You have time for a couple more?
Go ahead.
ahead.
How is the United States doing, Dusty? How are you guys? You guys okay?
We don't even know. We don't even know what we are. We're in denial and positive and in denial of everything. All I know is what I told you a long time ago. I win no matter what. That's how it's going to be.
Okay.
All right, this one I'm going to give you 100% because I've answered this 100 times. So I want your extended view on it. 254 pounds, 17% body fat, recommended carb intake in a cut phase.
270 pounds?
54 at 17% body fat.
254 at 17%.
He's giving you a decent amount of information to still answer an impossible question. That's why I want you to run with it for a little bit.
Well, so he wants to know how many carbs to eat to diet.
Yes.
Well, first of all, it matters how many he's eating now.
Yep.
Right? So hopefully, if he's 17% body fat, he's eating a lot of food because hopefully he's not 17% body fat on 300 carbs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he's eating a lot of carbs and he's been pushing the food because then you don't have to dial back as far. But I don't know. I would say a safe thing to do if you just don't know where you are and you at least have a week to just see what happens, is to go 1 gram of protein per pound and 3 grams of carbs per pound. And just eat that for a week and then just see where you're at. I know it sounds like a lot of carbs. If you're 250, that's like 750 carbs.
Right.
But if you're that big, you should be eating a lot of food.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, I think anything under a gram per pound. So let's say you're 250 pounds, but you're 17%. So you got quite a bit of body fat on you. So let's even just pretend you're 230.
Right.
If anything under a gram of carbs per pound is what I consider low carbs.
Yep.
So if you're 230 pounds and you're eating 200 grams of carbs, you're low carb in it.
Right.
Right. So I wouldn't start there. I would start on like 2 to 3 grams of carbs per pound and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to say, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think the answer is exactly what I say is kind of what you got to the same, which is you start with a number that seems a little too high, and then just keep etching it down, because what you don't want to do is go too low right off the bat. You need somewhere to go, and that's a mistake people do, especially if they're like, I got 10 weeks. It actually can still slow you down over the 10 weeks to bury it right out the gate.
Yeah, crash dieting can stall you out.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy the first couple of weeks is easy to lose weight. It should be.
Oh, yeah. You lose 5 pounds just to junk water immediately. That's why I always tell people, as soon as I get the first update with a new client, I'll tell them, okay, don't get excited about that number, because that's never happening again.
Right.
That's garbage. That's 7 pounds. Psh, because next week, if you lose a half a pound, I might be really happy.
Right. I know what you mean.
You know, so you got to kind of warn them, because if not, when they lose a pound or a pound and a half next week, they're like, oh, yeah, I only lost a pound. I'm like,
yeah, pure fat.
In a week. Yeah. That's awesome.
You lost an entire pound of butter off your body in a week.
Yeah.
Let's do
Put
that
some
again.
perspective. Yeah, so that's the answer, guys, is because I get that question a ton with way too limited information, is start high and slowly work it down, and you'll start to see. And then same thing, let your body grind until something doesn't work before you deduct again.
And I would pull out, like, if you were that high, if you were like up in the 700 carb range, I would, or 500 carb range even, I would pull out like 50 grams.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, 50 grams is 200 calories.
Yep.
You know? So you just pull out 50 grams and see if you lose any weight. And let's say next week you're like a pound down. You're like, oh, well, at least I know where the hill is.
Right.
Like now, you know, like you're starting to, like, there's a bit of a, you know, you're not on flat ground anymore, you know, that sort of thing. So if you pull out another 50, maybe it speeds up. So now you're off to the races. Okay, sit here for a while.
Yep.
You know, it's that simple. It's not complicated. That's why we don't necessarily have to like think about all the numbers once you get going. I just look at the diet and I'm like, oh, there's a cup of rice here. Remove.
Yep.
Okay. That's next week. Fuck, you're down 2 pounds. Sweet. The pure fat.
Yeah.
You know,
keep going. This is working. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm not necessarily like thinking about all this stuff. It's just big picture, you know? So yeah. What else you got on your mind, Dusty?
Well, right now I'm getting ready to go. I got Cole in town, so my training partner or my client, I should say, is going to be a training partner for the day.
Oh, Cole Eastfold.
Yes, he's in town. He didn't want to rush back to the winter wonderland and the closed down gyms of Minnesota, so he's staying here for one more day, and we're getting the training in.
He has gym access, though, right?
Of course he does.
Yeah, because doesn't he? Is he a part owner of that gym? I can't remember.
Not of the gym, but I think the access he gets is because he helps a lot of the gyms. He works at an equipment company, so.
Oh, okay. I knew he was involved with
equipment.
The
Yeah.
whole thing. Yeah.
Equipment, supplements, the whole bit. So.
Plus, when you're a guy like Cole, you're like furniture. You come with the gym.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I did talk to a bunch of people over the weekend, and they were like, it just seemed like everyone who's kind of been around for a while. It's like the assumption, like the owners were calling them going, so did you want to pick up your key today while we're closed, or how do we want to do this?
Good for him. He's a big dude now, man.
Oh, yeah, he's a tank. We're going to do junior nationals this year, and then right to the USA's, of course. But he was awesome because he just trusted. He was like, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, all right, let's take some time and eat. Because he's not the prettiest physique, but man, when somebody does everything right, I remember the day, and it was like the nicest mean thing I've ever said to somebody. He sent his pictures, and a couple weeks in a row, I was like, man, that front double. And finally I sent him a picture. I'm like, dude, your front double was complete shit your entire life. And now it's not bad.
That's like me and my calves.
Yeah, that's me and my front double too. Like if it ever got to not bad, I'd be happy.
No, I looked down one day and I was like, no one's going to mention.
But you know what I mean, though? Because it's true. Like, I will tell guys, like, if they're doing like now that's cut down like 30 seconds, I'm like, don't hit this shot. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I would tell a guy like Cole, like, walk out, hit your front relax, hit your front lat spread, then turn. Do not give them that shot.
The economy of your performance.
And now, I mean, literally, now it's to the point where it's, truthfully, all kidding aside, it's good now. I'm like, you're not automatically losing that pose, even in a top 10 call out at a USA's. You're not. You're going to beat some people in that, which is awesome. So it's been fun to have somebody that grind out for so many years and really watch them not just get bigger, but get better, But I wish there was a way to magically record things, which there will be in time, because the average person, what happens is they see Cole or someone like that, and they're like, I got to work with you. I got to know what to do. And then 3 weeks in, they've missed 5 meals, and they're not sleeping right, and they forgot to take this. I'm like, Cole hasn't missed 5 meals in 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, no fucking way. You know what I mean? Like,
it adds up. It adds up. It piles up, And the number one thing I say to people, it's not even that you missed the meal, it's that you missed the meal.
Yeah.
And now your mind is infected with that meal missing. And you got to get that fucking out of there,
It's just true. I say the same thing on a diet when people are like, well, I mean, what would one cookie do? I'm like, nothing. But if you take second, you'll remember.
Oh, yeah, you'll think about that cookie for the rest
of your life.
It
sounds fucking insane, but because we all know that's bullshit and it does nothing. But I would never want to say I did have a cheat meal during that prep. That wasn't asked for, that wasn't required. What the fuck did it do? So for 3 minutes, you enjoyed yourself? 3 minutes. You're not less hungry, probably more hungry. So nice job doing nothing. But yeah, that's the thing. A guy like Cole. So it was funny. I mean, I was like, we have got to figure out a way to train. And I don't train Mondays usually because of the show. And I was like, today we trained. That's why
you guys down there in the USA, you're flying all over. You're going to visit people.
We do whatever we want.
You're doing whatever you want. We're like I think we're the only province in Canada where the gyms are just open normally. Everyone's shut, and I think Ontario, they're open, but they're only allowed to have like 10 people in the gym.
Yeah, which makes it useless.
Doesn't even matter how big it is either. Like, they wrote it really bad, I think, but it's crazy. So
all of my Canadian clients are at home again in the gym. We're back to working with the basics, and then there's no one to get equipment from up there. Like, I have clients with money that doesn't matter, and they're like, "Oh, bro, I can't get it."
Yeah. When people don't make stuff, what does Elon Musk say? There's no stuff.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is too. So it's been terrible. Which, by the way, I have to do this right now. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get us off, but I have to say this. Hammer strength has been complete shit to deal with. What
happened?
Okay. So my order's coming on the 12th of November. Did not come. It shows up Friday. Okay. Part of it, which I knew it was only going to be part. Who knows why, but I only got part of it. We paid the $1,000 to get it all put together. It had to be paid. There's no way around it. I couldn't have someone do it when they were here. Nope, we pride ourselves off the truck and into your gym. That's how we do it. It's the only way we do it. There's no way around it. This is what we do. Cool. Well, then don't bring a truck with a bunch of shit in boxes that's not made, because that's exactly what they did. Then you get it off the truck, start opening it up to go through it. One of the pieces I didn't even order. It's not the right one. Some of the shit's not there. I mean, literally everything they could fuck up, they did.
Damn.
I'm like, so we got 5 of 12 pieces. One of them's the wrong piece. And none of it's put together. Appreciate it. Oh, and we're a month late. Outside of that, though, it's been flawless.
Damn.
And I think the problem is, truthfully, and this is what pisses me off about it, is we're too small to matter. It's 3 pieces. ASU just ordered $1 million order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ours is 12 total pieces. And it's like, fuck them. And that shit just drives me crazy. It's like, well, then just tell me.
Yeah.
Fuck off. You know? Yeah. But yeah, so it was definitely disheartening because I was hoping for a lot. So I have to point out. And then the bad part is I start talking to people and they're like, oh, yeah, it's normal. That's life fitness.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then how are they in business? Because it does blow my mind in this world.
They focus on the big clubs. They're doing business with the big clubs. That's how they're in business.
Yeah. It's unreal to me.
The top guys are playing golf with the big club top guys.
It is. It's truthfully is. And it's not
contracts.
Because, we're the gyms that, and because you're in that umbrella too, where it's like, but I'm the gym that's going to point out to you, I ordered this piece of hammer strength equipment because I think it's the best. Not because every fucking Lifetime Fitness ordered them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we picked that gym out piece by piece because you only got 9,000 square feet. It's literally like, okay, when this one comes in, what's leaving?
Yes, something's got to go. Exactly.
Like that's a conversation that takes place.
Ditto ordered one of those plate-loaded fly machines.
Right.
And he's like, I really want one. He used one at another gym, and I'm like, okay, fucking want one, get it. Right. And it's like on its way, but I'm like, what's leaving?
Who are we gonna cut?
It's gonna be here in a few weeks. I'm like looking for floor space, so we'll figure it out.
That's the game, man. But I'll let you know when it comes through. But I did get my pullover, so I'm not totally sad.
Okay. Well, remember, everybody, like, share, subscribe, comment, and ring the bell. I should have said that at the beginning of the show. Scott could do a little edit.
Yes, do that for sure, Scott.
Put in at the beginning, make it look snazzy. And, I've got my bike right here. It's been fucking so hectic the last week and pouring rain outside. I haven't ridden it. I might have time for a ride today, so I'm pretty happy.
Love it. You got the sun? Do you have a sunshine, or are you back in the garage?
I think I'm just going to ride inside today. So we'll see what happens.
I love it. All right, boss.
Have a good one, man. Remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.